And now we are back. Welcome back. Every 33 seconds, or 33 minutes and 22 seconds, it changes video, and that's alright. Maybe that's as long as what people can stay focused for. Maybe they'll watch part 2, part 3, and part whatever, later on. But I'm just going to keep going until the battery dies, perhaps. Who knows for sure? I don't know for sure. But I do like to say this in this way. So it was a beautiful teaching with Mr. Lama Gelson, showing me how important it was to share these teachings and share this lineage that I hold, and to clear the energy, walk around and remove the dirt from everything, and do all of these powerful energy transmissions, and just understand the perfection of the path and how everything is moving in such a great way, and a phenomenal centering and the lightness of flow. We could be heavy or we could be light. We could choose whatever we want to be. Either way, it's the same thing. It's the same coin. It just takes us realizing such things in a certain manner, shape, or form through our direct experience to bring us to this kind of a knowing. I'll say it's very good to stretch and to keep the body nice and strong. Hiking is a very low maintenance type of way to make the body strong. Carrying things, carry water, chop wood, these things. They're actions that are very easy to stay present with. They have a certain goal to them in some way, and you can kind of get lost in them. Like, I've just been walking and walking and walking and walking and walking. Well, where are you walking to? I was going to this hole, and I was just going here. Kind of walking into the unknown's kind of great, especially if you don't have a certain, I'm just walking for this, this long, however long I feel, whatever it is. But however it is, it's like, I'm just going to the store, I'm going here, I'm going here, I'm going there. So easy ways to become fit. Carrying a backpack, with a lot of heavy weight is also another way. I suggest if you're not used to it, take your time. You don't have to be the biggest, baddest man in the world, If you take your time, or the biggest, baddest woman in the world, but take your time and just move on through. It'll be perfect, whatever you're doing, it's not a problem. And it helps the muscles in the body. Maybe you don't have to take your time. Maybe you're a very fit person and you don't have to take your time. When I became unfit after being very fit, because I had injured myself numerous times, and then I'd caught myself in flows of teaching and helping in certain ways, and so I wasn't being as active, because all day, every day, I was providing energy flow and holding space for all kinds of different people and their expressions to bring them, whatever thing that came in for them uniquely and specifically to whoever it is their nature was, using the discernment of the moment that just naturally happens all on its own. I mean, it would be so strange for me to bring something out of place with whoever I was at. I mean, it's really utter perfection. It's not as if I could cause harm or say anything that was out of the way in some manner. If we do, but trust that even though it seems out of the way, it's not in the way. It's just something showing you, how it is you're meeting in the harmony of the moment, and helping you understand, a greater understanding of whatever would be more beneficial for you in some way, and whatever's more beneficial for you is beneficial for us, is beneficial for the people you're meeting with, and beneficial for everybody. Whatever's right for you is right for me, for all of us. And then maybe you think that whatever's right for you is killing somebody or something crazy like this, and maybe you do it and you find out, no, that wasn't very great. Or maybe you think it was very great. I don't know how it is you're going to think or feel, but eventually, you'll come to a place of balance, through whatever path, and all the karmas are correct in whatever way that they are, so no need to worry. I am happy that I'm founded within Buddhism, and I was able to take refuge in the Dharma, and the three jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And also to be able to take my refuge vows and have a good firm foundation on wisdom and compassion, not to lie, not to cheat, not to steal. And by cheat, I mean not to commit acts of sexual misconduct, which is pretty much just doing with lying and being not open and transparent with your energy, having, not great communication with whoever it is as your partner. It doesn't have to do with maybe having multiple partners, or you can have sex if you want. You can do it. You can do those things, but to do these things in a way that's good, in a way that's beneficial, and maybe you'll find that you're having much sex or something, and that is not as beneficial to the benefit of all beings as you once previously thought, and maybe that was a path you had to go to see that, and maybe it was a path that lasted you, 20 or 40 years or 80 years or however, and then you finally learned it through your experience and through determining, contemplating, seeing, weighing, understanding, going into introspection, extrospection, however it is, and seeing, and if you have a compassion born in you, a bodhicitta in some kind of a manner, a wish to be of benefit to beings, and it'll probably be more quick, whatever it is that you're learning through your experience, like, oh, well, is this really going to benefit myself and other beings, or is this something that is, benefiting some kind of a temporary pleasure that feels really great and high energy, They say a lot of people can get talked, get took or caught into, or however it is, they can be caught by these energies of tantric energy, and lose themselves in the path to it. So, it's something to be aware of, the possibility of these things. And so I'd like to share these things because they're very important pieces to the puzzle, very important pieces of the path. This very pure wisdom I was brought into that holds these amazing frequencies, these geometries, these mantras that relate to very small parts of ourselves. Without these mantras, I'm unsure if we're really actually able to reach certain doorways within ourselves. But I don't know, you would have to tell me from your experience. I've just seen a different quality in people that have this understanding and this understanding and then this understanding. And the certain understandings that I bring to you now are understandings that I usually see inside of people who have a great balance and foundation within the path that is very pure and beautiful and brings to themselves much stability and compassion. But I've also seen people grounded within these paths that have seemed to lose themselves completely, believing in images of their mind greater than enough. To me, it looks as if they're believing in very paranoid stories that are in a state of psychosis, and then telling me that they're definitely not crazy at the same time, and so it's a very interesting thing. Who am I to say if they're crazy or not? Who am I to say if I'm crazy or not? It would seem that I'm very, very crazy, very insane. Who knows, And so, but who's the one judging this, who's the one determining this, everybody's on a different place. I would, say, oh, that's a psychosis. Sometimes I say that, I'm like, for sure, there's something going on there. That's obscuration, something being held on to, not allowing us to see further than what it is. We're holding on to a particular angle of focus, typically. And that's okay, that's not a problem. We can look at whatever it is that we want to look at in any way that we wish to look at it, and, I'm not judging us for that. But I do have compassion for myself and for beings that I see it, so I bring to them a raw authenticity and a truth that I believe that can some way be of help and service to them on their path to come into a better balance. So even though I see you as reflecting very purely for the whole, I still wish to help you in some way to see if you could be more happy in the way in which you're providing reflections for the whole. But surely if you become more happy, to be very beneficial for yourself, which is of course very beneficial for everything, because you are everything. And so, and what can I do to help with that, And so that's kind of why I'm here today. Kind of why I'm always here every day, in every way. Always my intention. A lot of folks get upset with me, but hey, I got a pretty pure intention going on for you. What's your intention for me? To boost your ego, or to be better than me, or to be liked by me, or how is it, Well, I'll give up your like for me. That's okay. I like me enough. You don't have to like me. It's not a problem. I know that we're one and that I love all of myself, and so even if you don't outwardly express liking me, I'm sure there's a part of you that likes me. We're all one heart, one love. It's pretty amazing. So we were mutually talking about patience. I keep bringing it back up, hanging out in the past a little bit. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else to be said on patience real quick before we move on to the next thing. Well, patience is very beautiful, and so it's a lot to do, just letting it go completely. I remember I was looking for enlightenment. I was like, oh man, this thing needs to happen. I'm doing my best. I'm really getting this very hard. Come on, let's do this. And finally, one day I'm to have ceremony, and I'm like, today is the day I'm going to do this. And then, what do you know? My friend invited somebody to the ceremony that I was not happy with. I didn't feel like I was in harmony with, and that I didn't want to be part of the ceremony. But I didn't have the courage to say, no, 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 you stay back. It's just our ceremony. I don't want this person to come with us. And so I had to instead accept that this person was there. And so I kind of realized, oh, this person's going to be there. There's no way anything really great can happen in this experience, but we're still going to have a ceremony, and I guess we just try to have a good time. But I did also realize from these teachings that I need to come into harmony with this being before I come into this place, you know? And so I'm like, okay, well, what do I got to do? I have to apologize to this being. I have to say the things that I've been thinking in myself and the reasons why I haven't been able to be in harmony with them and all of these things, and come to a place of, you know, forgiveness and ask for forgiveness and all these things. And so that's what I do, to confess these things and ask for forgiveness, and it was accepted too beautifully, and I was able to come into harmony with this being, understanding everything already at this point to be perfection, because I was shown this, you know, over a year ago, or maybe literally a year ago to this date. And so it was amazing, you know. I was like, oh, okay, so I need to do this, or need to do that, and then I did, and this was a beautiful experience. And because this happened and I let go, I didn't think anything could really beneficially happen. I ended up realizing in that day, when she gave me this massage I had asked her for, I've posted about this before, she ran her hands down my spine, and I realized right there that, oh my goodness, I don't need to go anywhere, I don't have to do anything. I thought I had to go to Haleakala to have this experience, but turns out I don't have to go anywhere, and I don't need to do anything, and it's happening right here, right now, in this moment. But I had let go of it happening in that moment as well, just before that, because I didn't think that it could happen, you know. I thought it was impossible to happen, so I had no choice but to let it go. I mean, it's not going to happen, that's it. You know, it's just not going to happen. And that's kind of like the story of me coming to patience. That one took a whole year, you know, it's a long time. There's other teachings that happened. I remember I had set an intention in a ceremony to just be happy. I like learning, and you know, this time I'm with some friends. I think I just want to be happy. No, I've been pretty stressed, so I just set an intention to be happy, and I had one of the most powerful experiences of my life. It turns out what makes me happy truly is understanding, is knowing, is seeing things that I haven't seen before, and being able to relate these things with others. Who knew, you know, well, apparently the universe knew, consciousness knew, my heart knew, love knew, everything knew. And I just had to let go of my heart focus and soften the gaze, and it just bloomed all on its own then. But I was holding pressure to it before, and so it was very difficult for it to come. Now it wasn't, you know. And so this is a beautiful thing. We all want these things, and we're looking at these things, and we're like, oh, I want that, and I want that, and I want that, and oh, well, okay, you just keep on wanting them and forcing yourself towards them the whole time. You're always a little bit ahead of yourself. Maybe you're 10 years in the future, 2 minutes into the future, you know. Maybe you're hanging out in the past a little bit because you're holding on to that person that wanted this thing, you know, 3 years ago. But are you even that same person that wants this thing, or are you just still wanting it because you wanted it originally and you've been working so hard for it for this long, you know? Possible, who knows, I don't know. It would be up to you to look inside yourself and find out if this is triggering you in some way. If you think I'm speaking to you directly, it reminds me of the song, I'm so vain. You're so vain. You probably think the song is about you, don't you, don't you? But everybody knows when she's singing this song that it's not about them particularly. I mean, she doesn't even know you. How could it be about you, you know? I don't know if you're going to watch this or not. I don't know if it's about you. Because I'm talking about everyone. You must be talking about me too. I'm part of everyone. It's so funny. I love it. It's really beautiful. And so, as I'm saying, patience is a very beautiful thing. It's almost like patience doesn't actually exist. It's kind of just like, no, I'm not getting that. It's not happening at all. It's like, the movie The Secret I just watched. It's a new movie. You can rent it on YouTube. It cost me $20 to watch it, but I felt really called to watch this movie. I don't know. maybe so I could bring it up now today with you. I just watched it last night. It was really gorgeous. I learned a lot there watching movies, actually. Typically, I only watch movies that have really good messages and make me feel very good. I learn very well. I'm a super resonator. I write neural passageways through empathy, by seeing something and feeling the energy that I see very clearly through the pictogram picture that's being brought to me. This has happened in many experiences, and I'm going to share these experiences with you. I'm going to share all these experiences with you, every one of them. And it's a beautiful thing, and I'm not going to charge you for it either. You can feel free to donate. It's okay, I'm always taken care of, so don't worry. Even if I have nothing, I'm completely taken care of. I'm going to light this sacred tobacco. Thank you. Because right now I feel called to smoking. I may not feel called to smoking tomorrow, who knows? It's something I've been observing, and it's something that I haven't been rejecting away from me in any way. I had marijuana leave me before, and it almost came back to me last night. I would come very close, and it was a really amazing teaching, actually. A really amazing teaching. Because originally I had stopped, and then I tried it again, and I was feeling really good with my try, and this man Stan came up to me. And this whole huge teaching happened after that, but I was not mindful. I was not able to be fully in my flow with my power in a way that I was able to express myself truly in that moment and be able to read the energy and what it was saying in a very accurate manner, and this caused me a lot of pain and shakiness, confusion, frustration, like, oh no, I didn't say what he was clearly wishing me to say. He was such a brilliant teacher of just wanting the truth to come out, and I was unable to say the truth. I was afraid. There's all kinds of different energies. I'm like, I have to fight this guy right now. What is he trying to say? I don't get it. If I tell him the truth, is he going to try to fight me physically? Is this something I want to have happen? I'm very high. I don't know if I can really control or figure out this situation in a good manner. It was a really tough place to be in, and so I stopped. I was like, whoa, marijuana's poison, man. I couldn't actually do my flow or be a present channel for the benefit of all beings like I wanted to. And then later, I was able to bring this up to him and clear this energy and fix all these things. And then last night, my friend was at another place, and I was like, whoa, maybe I would do it tonight. Maybe. I mean, Stan won't be around tonight, so it'll be okay. Not a problem. And, well, what do you know? Right after I said no, who comes around the corner? Who would have been there had I said yes? Stan, oh my goodness, another time, the same guy. I was like, wow, except for this time I made a different decision, a different choice. And because I made this different choice, I can see very clearly that I made the correct decision. Now with this here, who knows what the decision is? It has always opened up actually phenomenal good gateway in a positive manner, and it seems like it's been hurting in some way sometimes, and then other times it doesn't. I have a good voice, I breathe very well, I can do all kinds of different things. It doesn't actually seem to cause me to be out of breath, but maybe it does, I don't know. I mean, really, I seem to have a pretty open throat channel, and so we're looking at whatever it is. Perhaps it's a sacred ceremony that to my being is necessary. Perhaps it's not for, right now it is for the purpose of this video and people watching, and also for myself. We're learning and growing together, apparently. If you're actually here with me, if you're not, later on in life, whatever, whoever happens to see this, if anybody ever. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I do wish that I had another way to hold this, so I could just be like, much more peaceful and relaxed. Instead of all the different angles of view. I'm talking for quite a while now, 52 minutes. I could keep going forever. I feel like we barely talked about anything. So, and I have a lot to say. So many teachings. So, coming through me, being me, I am the embodiment of these things. Amazing the light language. Yes, you have the wheel. She take it to be a ticket. I'm you have the wheel. You should be able to be able to be able to get to it. Take the wheel. Yeah, the wheel. Give me the wheel. You should change it to me.
Kiola, så my reality that you give the way of the creator to be two of auto. She was me one of my way of the creator, she gives me the bit of the way of the way she gave the bit of auto. Him of the way I guess, she was me of the way, because she gave the way of the creators, who have the middle welcome up, you have the middle witch, she gave the me way of the mouth, happy of the creator, have the creep, you me of the middle welcome of the middle wit, Davis me the she gave the way of the creep, we have the middle wish, she have the middle react, we have the middle wheel, she have the middle of it, we me of the middle, David me, we have the middle wish, she me of the we have the middle work, we have the middle. We have the midway to the mid we have the Mohab, we have the Matuish, we have the Midkichi, she shows me over the Mo, we have the Mokuata, we have the Midway of the Mokuo, so have the Makash, we have the Mitu, you got the Mitu of the Mohurish, you have the Mitu of the Maha. To me, we have the Maha, she you should me over the way of the Moku, we have the Mitia Shuma. Mogi of the Montana, have the Makia, which is yes, you have the Mokuopata. And so these are really amazing things that are occurring, you know. And it's coming through the moment, it's coming through the breath, it's coming through surrender of the breath. These are things that would be very difficult for anybody to try to do on their own. I mean, I don't know how you would possibly do it. I mean, I've tried to do it. And it's something that's very effortless. It takes something that is not trying, it's not force, it's not effort. And there has been times when I had to make an effort to be effortless because I had contracted myself so much, I had backed up for myself so much that I actually needed to put forth a lot of effort and a lot of focus in order to break through those parts of the mind that were causing me limitation. And then I was able to step back into effortlessness after being in effortlessness and then kind of falling asleep in a certain fashion of my effortlessness. And so it's very beautiful. And I'm going to bring more teaching on this in a later video perhaps, or maybe in this video, maybe at a later time in this video. But yeah, so a lot of beautiful teachings, and for me marijuana had fallen away, and so I'm just waiting for the same thing with this. It seems like it's going to fall away. It's like I can't understand why it wouldn't fall away, but you know, we're learning and growing every day. Who knows, maybe this seriously is my medicine. I remember having a ceremony when I was a younger man, 24 I believe I was, and this was 7 years ago now, which may not seem like a very long time to some people, but to me this is a very long time. I've had many experiences in between this, and so when I tell these stories, they seem like, wow, you must have learned that over, you know, many years. It's like, oh no, I learned that very quickly, you know, it took a couple weeks for that one. Of course, there's a lot of information to be said about those couple weeks, and maybe it seems like that information should, you know, envelop, you know, a few years or so, but it didn't actually take that for me. Luckily, I was very clear and very able to understand, and mainly just because of the pure focus, pure intention, you know, to be of benefit to all beings everywhere without one person, without one exception, you know, that kind of a perception is a really beautiful place to be, you know, egoless, you know, understanding, you know, how not to be selfish, never wishing to be selfish, and also thinking that, you know, if I was selfish, that it would immediately negate itself anyway, and that I did actually wish to be of benefit, and so obviously if I do this for a selfish way, that it won't work for me anyhow, and so I just give up on it, and I'm like, oh well, I guess it can't possibly help me because I want to do it in some way, and it's not the right way, but I'm still going to pray for this being, and pray for these things, because whether or not, you know, it gives me anything or not, I do wish and desire to be of service and to be helped, you know, and I was brought into that place of service in the path, through many places of experience, you know, always wishing to do something good with my life and to be able to help beings, and whatever it was, just be helpful in some way, my mother and my family, and whoever it was I was caring about at the time, whoever it was I was possible to touch, maybe just a homeless guy on the street, or whatever it was, anybody in my community, however the community was. I've lived in many places, many different types of communities. What can I do to help them, to make them feel good? You know, I didn't feel like anybody was ever there for me, and so I wish to be there for others in a certain manner. And I guess that's a very pretty thing, a really beautiful thing, and so I'm very happy that life led me to feel so downtrodden, that I cared so much about other people not feeling the same way, and that I was led to, you know, understanding how to love my brothers through Christianity and through, you know, spiritual teachings of many natures, Native American teachings, Buddhist teachings,
these were the main teachings, these three teachings. Other books of wisdom, Prophet and Soul, and Soul Science book. I was also given a book of the Toltec Truths, the Toltec Wisdom, the Four Agreements. That's a beautiful book, amazing book. I kind of live my life still remembering these four agreements. To be impeccable with my word. When you're impeccable with your word, you're impeccable with all of your action. To not take things personally, because nothing is personal. Nobody knows who you are, and so whatever's going on with them, it has to do with what's going on with them, and we can have understanding and love for them wherever they're at in their life, however it is that they're projecting that in whatever way it is. And, it's also a teaching for us, though, people have pure perception too, what they see in you is maybe sometimes reflected by a way that you really are being, or sometimes it's not, it just depends, but it's always good to have a introspection, self-contemplation, see if the shirt fits. If it doesn't, don't wear it. I had to quote my good friend Matt, he always said that, and I'm happy that it did, because it's a beautiful teaching. And so those are the first two, to be impeccable with your word, and to not take things personally. I think it's, the next one's not take things personally, but maybe it's don't make assumptions, which is kind of similar to not taking things personally. But to not make assumptions, if your friend didn't call you or something on the phone, it's possible that they were very busy and that you might think, oh, he's ignoring me, he doesn't like me, he doesn't care about me anymore, creating all these stories and all this anger and all this hate and whatever it is, and then you find out, oh, I'm sorry, I lost my phone, somebody stole it from me, and if I had known that you were calling, I would have totally answered your call, or I went to the hospital, or I was very busy for some reason, please excuse me, I was just going on with something in my own life, in my own head, and it had nothing to do with you and my care for you. But this could ruin your friendship, these assumptions. Not just because they might be upset that you've made this assumption and declared this thing to them in such a manner, but because you yourself may not be able to let go of the story that you've created. So it's an interesting thing, don't make assumptions. And then the fourth one, very important, very beautiful, always do your best. And I think it's just so gorgeous, because when we find out, we want to withhold these agreements, and we always do our best, and so maybe we found out we've taken something personally, or that we weren't impeccable with our word, or that we've made an assumption. That's okay, but we found out, we just always do our best. We've done our best there, and we doing the best that we can, but when oh shoot, I was making an assumption, you don't have to go into a downward spiral and think, I've lost it all. Just do your best, it's okay. Now that you've noticed that, you have a chance to, try it again, keep applying them every day as best you can. So, you find out, okay, well, now I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to withhold this. Oh, that's where I took something personally. Next time I'm going to do my best to not do that. I've made another assumption, I'm going to do my best to not do that. I wasn't impeccable with my word, I didn't say the entire truth, the honest truth, I wasn't completely real, I lied in some way, or whatever it is. And so they asked me, what I had done, and I told them that I'd done something different than what I'd done, or whatever it is, and so I wasn't fully impeccable with my word, or I said I believe in this thing, and I hold myself to this thing, and then I didn't do that, and so I wasn't completely impeccable with my word and my action. I said, hey, yeah, I'm a phenomenal and perfect being in this manner, and then you find out, I'd never do this thing, and then you do this thing, and you're like, oh, well, you have a chance to be impeccable. Maybe, before you did this thing, you thought that you weren't going to do this thing, so you could have been being impeccable, with your word then. And then you found out, oh, well, actually, I do this thing. And then you would think, okay. So next time you have an opportunity to be like, well, I don't typically do this thing, but, sometimes it's possible that, I could do this thing. And, or you find out that you don't want to do that thing anymore. And you're like, well, yeah, I say I don't do this thing, and then I did this thing, and so I'm doing my very best to not do this thing again. And, this confession of what was true is impeccability. It's a beautiful thing. And so you have an opportunity in every day of your life and everywhere that you ever be to be impeccable with your word, which will relate to your action. I mean, if I'm impeccable with my words, then I'm impeccable with my actions. It's like, oh, I'm very mindful right now in my word. I'm going to be very mindful in my movement. Was I very mindful with the ant earlier? Oh my goodness, no. Oh my goodness, my friend. I was so busy, I just didn't have the time. I don't know, I was talking to you. I didn't want to break away from you for too quickly, but I could have told you. Oh, 1 second, excuse me, I have a friend on me right now. I got to get him off of me, and you're just going to have to wait for me to come back. I'm sorry if this breaks the flow of what I was saying in some way for you, and you don't feel like you have enough attention span to be able to listen any further because I broke away. But I must break away and help my little friend find a safe place to stand. And that, that would have been just fine for me to do that. And I didn't do that, and so I confessed it to you. I didn't say, oh, don't say anything about that. Oh, I'll never do anything like that. I don't ever do anything like that ever. No, I have a choice, to be impeccable with my word and say what is happening, confess my sins, if you want to call them that, my missings of the mark, or my perfections, could be seen. I have a chance to express the truth of who I am in an authentic way, or I have a choice to not do this. And I'm glad whenever it is that I find the courage and the bravery to be vulnerably, authentically, completely myself in any moment and be able to really be impeccable. It's a beautiful thing. Warriorship, they call it, man. Spiritual warrior, Buddhic warrior, heart warrior. Unconditional love for all beings everywhere without one exception. Have I said that yet? Typically, that's my motto. That's like my thing. It's like my catchphrase. Unconditional love for all beings everywhere without one exception. It's a bomb and very beautiful thing. It loves all things, so all things love it because it's all one, and so it's an amazing place of equanimity. Unconditional love is not loving with conditions, so you're not looking at that thing like, I unconditionally love that. As long as it does change. No, it's like exactly as it is. No matter what, even if it stays that way forever, you'll love it no matter what. It's like, oh yeah, man, that's anger. That's anger gonna be anger forever. Alright, well, I unconditionally love it. I love you, anger, no matter what. I love you no matter what. Oh yeah, you're gonna kill me right now. I still love you. It's okay. Not a problem. I love you. Whatever you do, I love you. No matter what you do. Thank you so much for you. It's amazing. Unconditional love brings in unconditional gratitude, unconditional acceptance. Sometimes unconditional allowance, of certain things, but you don't have to allow somebody to do you harm. You don't have to allow all kinds of different things to occur. You have a choice, you can choose to have your strength and your boundaries and protect yourself in a way that doesn't have to be violent or volatile, but is very clear and concise. So, no, I don't want that. No, you cannot do that to me, and you can meet people in any kind of way with this, it's your choice, if you go too soft, they'll probably overpower you. If you go too hard,